read thousands, probably 10,000 resumes. And most people that come into these rooms either want to know about cool businessy shit, they just want to know how to find a fucking job, okay? Because you need money, and college is expensive. And most of you in this room, over half of you, will be jobless when you graduate. All right? Unless you take my advice and everything magically gets better. So I want to get just an idea in the room here. I'm going to 30 seconds or less, please. I'm going to pick on a few people here. So what do you want to be when you grow up? So after you graduate, what's the why are you here? What do you want to do in the world sort of a question? You.
I'm going to be a consultant, and I'll have my own consulting firm.
Business consultant,
Yes,
life coach.
Business consultant.
Okay. So, all right, you sir.
Work in the family business, doing construction.
Actually, swing the hammer, ordering around.
I need to learn a little bit of that before I can tell people what to do. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So project super.
Yeah.
Project
Project
management, project
exactly.
consulting, PMP, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, Miss.
I don't know where my hair is going.
All right, and the one in front of you.
I kind of want to go into business party planning.
Business party.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, who's very back, black?
Kind of business management, small, and have my own business on.
Okay. The red sweatshirt there. Okay. Hey, I heard a few chuckles in the room, but one of my favorite people right now is Harold Littlejohn. He's a professor of tax law at the law school in town. He's like the coolest accountant I've ever met. The guy's he DJs, he's been in bands, he's into this weird spiritual shit in his business, and he's the best accountant ever. So it's better you than me, because I'm awful with numbers. All right, Plaid.
Product design. I want to design my own indoor and outdoor lighting and make a business out of it.
Why that?
Because I have the knack for building stuff, and I kind of want to change what I do as a hobby already into an actual business.
Well, we're going to use this as the rabbit hole, okay? So tell me more. Fill me in.
Okay. More about my particular idea.
I don't care about your ideas. How you're going to make money. What is your job going to be after you graduate?
Okay, I want to own my own shop, and I want to sell artistic pieces, and then
Sell to who?
sell to usually locals in Chico, or either on my website or eBay.
Do people in Chico make enough money to afford what you're going to sell?
Well, in Chico, it's a little bit harder. Maybe I probably would have to move to or sell more in the Bay Area, or maybe a little bit wealthier areas. But for right now, I'm focusing on products that aren't very high priced.
Okay.
They're medium.
So there's a bunch of artistic products I could buy and put in my house right now. What makes you different? Why should I give a shit about you?
Well, I mix industrial cues with sustainable manufacturing and sustainable lighting. So I use LED design and LED.
I don't know what
design.
that is,
Okay.
so why should I
So
care
I
about
use
that?
energy
Dig it.
efficient lighting, and
I don't care about my electric bill. Dig deeper.
Okay.
Keep going.
My lights look pretty sick.
There we go. Okay. All right. So the lesson here, okay? And I know that what was I supposed to talk about today? Email, getting a job via email. We'll talk about email for the last 5 minutes. The main challenge you're going to face when you leave school, okay, whether you leave before graduation or after you get a diploma, or you're one of those types that never leaves, because I imagine ones you are needing here won't leave for the next 10 to 15 years, because that's just, I guess the numbers don't lie, is why should a stranger care about you? Why should a complete stranger give a shit about you? Why would I open my wallet? Because in the world, most of you mentioned technical ideas, business consulting. So why, as a stranger, you approach me and say, you know what? I have something awesome. And I'm going to open my wallet. I'm going to pull out my card. I'm going to type in 16 digits on this card. I'm going to flip it over, type in the 3 digits on the back. I'm going to type in 4, perhaps 5 lines for a billing address, my email, maybe my billing phone number now, and hit submit. to a stranger? And let's ask another follow-up question. Why would I take a resume that's handed to me from a college student or college graduate that probably work experience is likely a little thin? There's probably a few exceptions in here, but most of you probably don't have a lot to put on here, maybe half a page, realistically. Why would I be like, wow, this is amazing! This is so amazing! I'm going to call this person up right away and offer them a job. I'm going to put them on payroll. I'm going to increase my workers' comp liability. I might potentially increase my unemployment insurance by hiring this stranger. So why should a stranger care about you? Whether you're starting your own business, or whether you're going to be working for somebody else, or whether you're going to, in the world of consulting, we basically have a whole bunch of bosses. Okay? So why should a stranger care about you? Not why a friend should care about you. Not why someone that's always been your fan, always been your supporter should care about. Why should a stranger care? So how do you get a stranger to open the application, open the email, scroll all the way down to the contact information and contact you? All right? That is the challenge. That's the challenge. And whether you're pitching an app or trying to get a job or competing for an internship, or in your case, crowdfunding your first big project, or perhaps crowdfunding for your space, or maybe some hair salon. I want to hear about this a little bit.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh?
You want to know why?
Why?
Because all the people in the room that said what they wanted to do, I remember him and I remember you.
It all make you look beautiful.
I don't have any hair.
Yeah, you do. You have hair right there.
So you make your ears look beautiful?
Yeah, give it a nice trim, fix it up a little.
My old man stripes. I call it divorce. But no, but why do you want to do that? I mean, why are you going to college for that?
I don't know, maybe to try to see, where to establish my salon and what my competitors and hair salons around me are going to be, and...
Stop.
Okay, I'll stop.
Okay. The reason why I remembered her is because she answered without hesitation. But then when I asked the follow-up question, it kind of fell apart because she was trying to tell me what she thought I wanted to hear. I didn't want to hear about, oh, this is why I think college is important. No one gives a fuck about where you went to school unless it's an engineering position or maybe an MBA sort of a thing where it's the pedigree. Or they're an alum. I'm not an alumni here. Oh, Tim, you know where Tim is, right? I have no idea where this is. I just, David, bless his soul, was able to help me wade through my own stupidity to figure it out. I live like 5 blocks away. It's disgusting. But it's because the answer without hesitation, there was that confidence. And I was like, oh, she knows what she wants to do. And in his case, I didn't get interested. He says, oh, my LED lights are sick. I don't even know what LED lights are since they cost more. They're more expensive, but if they look sick, maybe I'm interested. Maybe I want to feel young again and use the words like sick. For my age, it was rad. That was the word of the day. So, in that case, sort of a startup. In your case, you're not going to be carving your own niche. You're going to be going against tons of competitors. So what makes you different? Why should I, as a stranger, care about your flavor of doing hair or making people beautiful?
Yeah, I'm just thinking now.
That's all right.
I don't know. I guess I have to put an image out there. I have to let people see my work.
Now, what do you have to do? What do you want to do?
What I want to do.
All right.
Well, I want to work there, and I want to manage I want to be running there.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to be an employee.
Yeah, I want to be both. I want to be I want to have it, and then I also want to be working there too.
Okay, so you don't want to be stuck in the office. You want to be messing with hair, but you don't want to someone bark in order section. Okay? So one thing she did there, and this is really, really important in interviews and phone calls and emails. It is okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to say to someone, to a stranger, it's like, oh my God, I'm fucking terrified right now. I'm shaking. I've been in interviews where I was shaking. And I've interviewed people that literally, I interviewed a guy in Texas once, and he's sitting down there, and he pulls up his chair to the thing, and he was just Like he was holding his hand to keep it from shaking. It was shaking so hard. And he was interviewing for a position. It was like 20. The economy's still crap. It was like 20 hours a week, like $20 an hour. So it wasn't that good of a job, but he was young. And for him, that would have been enough money to provide him runway to do what he really wanted to do. So I started talking to him, and about 10 minutes in, it's like, dude, I need someone that's like super confident, right? And you're not going to get the job, but I'm still going to help you. So I started talking to him a bit more, and finally he stopped shaking when he started talking about graphic novels. And about how excited I was about graphic novels. So I let him get it out of the system. He got super excited, and he was talking so fast I couldn't even keep up. And I was like, that's the person I would have hired, not just the shaky kid before. And I gave him this really rad graphic novel that I had bought from this cool retro thing that I was into at the time. And I said, hey, take this. Sorry you didn't get the job, bro. Do that instead. That's what I would buy. And interesting enough, this morning, I had a call with Ryan Fukuda. He's a brand new client, he just paid today. And they're not a client until they pay, by the way. Until you get that first check, you're not hired. And you know what he's doing? He is taking a bunch of actors and doing some cool sets. And he's having not someone come in with a video camera, he's having someone come in with a regular camera to take pictures of it. And then he has a digital artist rendering in this wacky style. And he's creating a graphic novel using live actors, where the hero/heroine is a transgender based in 1920s Harlem, New York, Harlem Renaissance. So I tell you that story, and I tell you the story about me wanting a corporate job working for a Fortune 500, perhaps being a consultant someday. Who are you going to pay attention to? It's no brainer. The crazy freaking graphic novelist. And granted, he may be destined to be a starving artist. That might be the case, but goddamn, he's going to go down happy. Because it's crazy and wacky and wild. All right? People do not buy based off of needs. They have their little job posting, right? Most of them will say the same things. You know, experience preferred, especially if you're low. Experience preferred in X industry. A BS or BA in a relevant field. Advanced Microsoft Office skills. You've seen them, right? This is all the same shit. That's what they think they need. What they want is someone that's going to show up, sit down at that desk, and make them money and or save them money. That's all they want. And they want someone they actually want to work with. They want to be interested. They don't want to get bored anymore. So why would I send a resume and say, hey, guess what? I'm a really interesting person, and I'm passionate because I think I could pimp out this guy's beard. Or I'm passionate because of my sick LED lights. Or I'm someone that's still in college that is going to be a consultant because you know what? You actually have the potential of being smarter than I was at business 10 years earlier. It's crazy. And it's daring. It's inspiring. It's different. All right? So why would I send a resume to a stranger and hope to get something out of them? Rule number one. And I learned this as a headhunter working for big executive Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 firms. All right? Do not lead in with the resume. The only time you ever lead in with the resume, ever, is if they specifically ask for it. If that is the actual requirement. And it's got to be a firm requirement. Required. Email, attach a Word document, no more than 2 pages, docx resume, and in this format. Most of the time they don't, though. A resume is a list of reasons for them to say no. Because a resume is just a recipe for boring. I've seen resumes that are pretty awesome, but that was maybe 1%. That's the exception. Okay? And then in business, if you have an idea that you want to pitch or something that you want to fund or something that you want a stranger to care about, doing the same thing is not going to work. It's just not. The best placements I ever had as a headhunter were people that sent me 3 or 4 bullet points in an email. There was a guy named Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy was this like socially awkward programmer type. He worked for about 2 years out of college, and he was smart. He was really smart. And the client was a gaming company, ArenaNet. I don't know who games in here, but ArenaNet's a big deal. I think they probably got swallowed up by Sony a couple of years ago. But He came in super socially awkward. He didn't send me a resume. I was like, dude, your resume sucks. So what I sent to the gaming company was a couple of bullet points. This is why this guy kicks ass. This is why you should care about this guy. This is why this guy, 2 years out of college, is better than this guy with a master's in science and computer science and 10 years experience. He ended up getting the job at the age of 24, making $120,000 a year with like the sickest benefits package I've ever seen. All right? It wasn't got off a resume. It was just the thing. This is why you should care about me, not why you should hire me. This is why I deserve an interview. Okay? So lesson number 1, don't lead in with the resume. Lesson number 2, that first interaction you had, that email, that job application, that whatever it is, that internship, that project, that client, they were like, hey, I want you to spend money on me. My first business was when I was a sophomore in college. I wasn't very good at it. I lost a lot of money, but I learned how to make money at the time too. And people still talk about it. I was memorable about that. I felt cool back then for the first time in my life. And then 2 years later, I felt uncool again, and that hasn't left since. But the important thing to remember here is that that first interaction, the goal isn't the job. You're not going to this person and saying, I want this job. I want this internship. I want you to hire me for this project. I want you to pay me to do this. I want you to open my wallet up and put those 16 digits in for me. The goal of that first interaction is to earn another interaction. It's earn the next call. So everyone always goes in and it's like, I got this, and what do I want this person to say? What should I say right now? You just need to give them a reason to talk to you again. And even if you feel boring, how many people here feel boring in an interview environment? Okay, Peter, that's bullshit. I saw your hand go up. There's a few of you, and the other half of you that didn't raise your hand, you feel that way, but you're not raising your hand. So you feel boring in an interview. It's like, oh yeah, I'm in college. Of course I have no job experience. Of course I'm a noob at everything. Of course I am a risk. Of course I'm a liability. Of course I might have a breakup with my boyfriend and girlfriend and show up late the first week of work because I was so heartbroken. Because I'm emotional. Right? But the real goal of that first interaction, that email, that LinkedIn connection request, is just to get another conversation. That's an easy sell. You're not selling them on $30,000 a year and a crappy benefits package. You're selling them that you are worth a conversation. You are worth a second thought. You're worth caring about. Okay, so I'm going to step off my pulpit for a second, and we're going to workshop something real quick. How am I doing in time?
You're good.
Like, how much time do I have left?
Yeah, 20 minutes. Yeah.
All right, lesson number 3. You remember this one, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Specifics. People do not buy on generalities. And brands, they do. In the big brands, the headlines you see on commercials, it's branding. You know why it works? Because you do that generic thing like a million times. So I've done it a million times, so you're going to remember it. I mean, what's your favorite tagline in that? What ads do you know? Just Do It is Nike. Like, what else? Anyone? I'm loving it. McDonald's. Anything else?
Like a good neighbor? That's not
Yeah.
Like a good neighbor,
Right. What else? Keep going.
Nationwide is on your side.
Okay. Anything else?
15 minutes or less, Geico.
Okay. The reason those work is because they beat the living shit out of you with the ads. Okay? And it was smart because it worked. You know the campaign for Just Do It for Nike? You know what inspired that? It wasn't, oh, I want to empower young women and young men to be amazing athletes and amazing people and change the world and be the Americans that we're meant to be. It wasn't that at all. It was an ad man sitting there with a newspaper. This is back when Execution by Firing Squad, it's probably only one person in this room old enough to know about those days, where Execution by Firing Squad was still allowed. And it was front page of a paper in Texas, and it said, his last words was let's do it. Like, that was his last word. You have any last words, sir, before 8 people shoot you with guns? Oh, let's do it. So that became the Just Do It campaign. It was the last words of a murderer. All right, but you're going to remember that now. You know why? Because it was specific. Okay, when you're talking to a stranger, you need to give them something specific to hold on to. It's like you've got this, there it is, a good wall. Okay, so this is your dream here, okay? That's the person that you need to hit reply, to click yes to the connection request, to reply to the email, to click on the resume, to scroll down the resume, to actually give a shit, to return the call. All right, they're up here, and you're down here. No, vice versa. They're down here, you're up here. And all you're doing is like, dude, it's just a little harder, man. Just climb up that wall. I'm like the best employee you'll ever have. I'm the best hairdresser you ever have. That's the best fucking lights you'll ever have. They're not going to climb up the wall. Why? Because you're a stranger. You need to give them specifics. You need to leave them a handhold. Give them a reason to contact you. Okay? So we've got, all right. Right now, most of you have this phone. All right? You're like, oh, come on. It's just like, I'm the right person. Please, I know it. Everyone knows it but you. Please. And they're like, there's nothing to grab onto. And you leave specifics. All right? I told a story about the guy in Texas, which is specific. Firing squad is a specific. Passive-aggressively dogging Mr. Strauss is a specific. Okay? These are all specifics. And what that is, those are handholds. Those are footholds. And you can't, there's no way to know which one they're going to care about. Maybe because you went to the same school, and maybe because you're scared of the same things. That's why that vulnerability with you, and you're like, oh, I screwed this up. I'm sold now because you're human like me. I'm weird and awkward too. I have a little vodka in me, so that doesn't count. But anyway, that's why I'm really late. All right? But seriously, be specific, okay? So, number one, resume. You'll be able to get a job without a resume, okay? You will. There's a few places that will require to just that, but there's usually that step 3 in the hiring process or 4. Number 2. What was number 2? Come on, what was number 2? Yes, the sell is the next interaction, not the job, not the project, not the money. There's a pitch competition coming up. The pitch competition is all about exciting curiosity. It's about delighting the investor. All right? Next, you need to be specific. You got to leave them these handholds. Give them something. Give them a reason to care. All right? I mean, there's no reason for you to care about me other than the specifics. The first interaction you had with me, the first view you had of me, was me sitting right here and doing that. That is what you'll remember. It is specific. That's what's this guy doing, flipping people off? You know? And using Jesus in a naughty way. You know why? It's specific. I've built the habit of becoming specific because I used to be, still kind of am most days, totally uncool. Totally not memorable. No one gave a crap about me. I was scared to talk to anyone. I was scared to even shake the hand of a girl up to my freshman year in college. I was kind of a pussy. Okay, and now I'm a little less so. All right? And it's because of the specifics. It's because I found other people where I was allowing myself to be vulnerable. Like, I remember my very first dance lesson. I was learning how to swing dance. It was the basement of Mike and Dottie Strait. Mike Strait was an instructor at Top Gun, like the real Top Gun. He just was a badass fighter pilot. He taught people how to be badass fighter pilots. He was the first man to shoot a satellite out of space from a plane. It's really cool. He was like this big, and kind of a douchebag. But that's beside the point. So I was in the basement of Mike's house and learning the basic 2, 1, step 1. And I remember it is like, now Nate, when you're holding the girl like this, you need to make sure that the middle finger is on her bra strap. That's the rule. Middle of the back, middle finger on the bra. That's when you know you're in the right spot. And I don't remember anything else from that lesson except that. I was like, touch her bra strap. Because it was specific. I don't remember anything else about that night. I also remember Jason, the guy that taught me, and then getting thrown in prison for being a child molester. All right? Details, specifics, okay? You may think you're boring. You may think some part doesn't care about you. It's okay to be human. It's okay to be flawed. Because you're coming out of college, they accept the fact that you're already broken. From college, you're a Chico stick, come on. Like most of you are going to leave here alcoholics, addicted to some sort of prescription drug. Made someone or become pregnant. Okay, I've been through a couple of breakups. You're going to be damaged goods, and you're going to be raw. And have that and if you haven't done all that, you'll have that fresh new car smell about you. It's like, wow, what's going to go wrong with this car? Okay? They already know this. Own it. All right, and don't tell them the personality. Yes, sir. I'm a really hard worker. I'm a really hard worker. I'm a great multitasker. No one's a good multitasker. Sorry, women are a little better than men. It is proven. Like in a zillion different studies. That pisses the shit out of me. So think about this, okay? Number one, all right. The last resort, okay? This is the in case of emergency, break glass approach is the resume. Number two, what you're selling is the next conversation, okay? It's a first date. It's a first date. That first interaction is like, yeah, you're going to call me back. Yeah, I want you kind of to lust at me. Lust after me later tonight. Seriously, that's what you want. You want to be wanted, and they want to want you. But the most inspiring stories I ever heard about this was, there was a guy, a struggling actor in Hollywood, and he's sitting on a park bench. And he was in his mid-30s at the time. He thought he was going to be one of those late bloomer types. Not like Wilford Brimley. Does anyone know who that is? God, no, fam, I freaking. So we're bridging the gap here. But he's not going to be hitting his stride in his 60s. Oh, Morgan Freeman. Okay, Morgan Freeman, his strides are like 50, right? So, and he's sitting there, and this old man sits next to him in this park bench, and he's in Burbank, going from audition after audition. I think he lasted like 9 months of getting nothing. He was auditioning every week. Just fail. And he's sitting there like on the verge of tears, and he shares his story with this old man. And the old man patiently listens to the story, and he's like, they wanted you to do well, right? What do you mean? They hated me. No, it says they've been sitting, watching actor after actor all come in with their reels, with their big dreams, and they wanted so bad for you to be the one. But finally, we could be done auditioning. I found my man. They were looking for a hero. They wanted you to be the hero in their story. And even if it's an entry-level position right out of college or something you do while in college, when I've dealt with probably 100 interns now in the past 10 years on a variety of different projects, and I want them to be the hero. My business partner right now, he's up in Seattle, Seth. Seth used to be my fucking intern, and he owns half of my company. Not 49%, he owns half of my company right now. I wanted him to be my hero. When he interviewed with me, you know what he talked about? And I hated it at the time because I was conditioned to that college conditioning. He was talking about Dr. Who and said, oh, my dream, he says, I really want this internship, but my real dream is I want to write a script for an episode of Doctor Who. That's what he wanted to do. And I still remember that. I don't remember any other interview but his. And I turned him down, and the guy interviewing with me is like, you know what? I'll take him, Nate. Screw you, Nate. I'll take that guy. And they just kept showing up. And then I was like, dude, I know I rejected you, like the jilted lover. And I'm like, I know I rejected you, but I need your help right now. And he started helping me. And next thing you know, he's a partner in the company, and he's the one I call up and was like, Seth, I need you to talk me out of this. He's the one that I trust now. He was the hero in my story, regardless of what I wanted. And when people are seeing that interaction from you, they just want to fill that position with someone that's going to be awesome. They don't want to do something. No one wants mediocre. I mean, you see McDonald's is popular because it's the cheapest. All right? 5th Street Steakhouse, and now that new one over at Hotel Tillman, that's the most expensive. It better be awesome. But how many people you know? I just want something middle of the road tonight. I don't want a mediocre boyfriend. I don't want an average girlfriend. No one ever says that. And if they do, That's a therapy issue, right? So, recap again, okay? I'm just going to beat it to death. Number 1, last resort, the resume. Number 2, the close is not the job or the project or the money. The close is the next conversation, okay? And I can talk all about conversation number 2 later. Number 3, be specific. Give them a reason to care about you. And it's usually not going to be about the job. They'll remember something else. All right? Next, be human. The vulnerability. Sitting here and you stumble around with this, what makes you human? It's like, okay, you're not like a freaking superstar. I'm not a superstar either. Join the club. Or I want to hire a superstar. They'll make you look bad. Seriously, I've had people come in and I was like, well, you're way too good. like, we're not hiring you. And so to be human, it's totally okay. They know that you're flawed. It's okay to be flawed. Honestly, they just want somebody that cares as much about that business and that product and that service and that cause as much as they do. They just want somebody to care about them, just like you want them to care about you. They want this stranger sitting across from them at the interview table to be like, wow, they really get me. Not that they get they get me. They get why I give a shit. All right? Pause for effect. Okay, any questions? Job hunting questions, not sucking at life questions, survival questions, recovering from bad relationship questions? Yes.
What is small business triage?
Well, small biz triage, these guys have done their homework, but it's all right. I forgive them.
I think it's good small business.
It started, I help small business owners and triage. Anyone here know what triage is? Triage is a medical term when someone's bleeding on the battlefield or an earthquake, and they're like, okay, this guy's going to die. He's just being a pussy and just whining too much. You know what? He's got a fighting chance. He's in the emergency room. Band-Aid, morphine, Xanax, ignore you, let you die. Triage is sorting out the people in the field. They actually put tags on their bodies to decide who they're going to pay attention to. What's the priority? So what I do with small businesses, I teach them how to wait. I talked to a gal today who is super smart, super successful. You know what she does? This is why I'm late today for real. I was talking to Kay. Kay he works in Hollywood as like a set decorator type person. Makes good money. You know, averages about $60 an hour in her projects, 8-hour a day. She's making good money. In LA, it's not that much, but she's doing all right. Her passion is making funny things. She is known in Hollywood as the fake puddle, fake blood girl. She makes fake blood for movies. She makes the fake puddles you see in like CSI, the fake blood puddles. That's her business. But she wants to make it fun. So my job, and everyone I work with, my job is to take, my particular job in the company is to take all these crazy ideas. It's okay, what do you really want? Do you want to do this job, or do you want to like do this thing instead? So we get that figured out. We find out what the outcome is, and then we work our way backwards, and we just take the goal and work our way backwards and figure out how to get there. Then I'll hand her off to my business partner, Seth, to work on the words, make them sound good. Then I'll hand her off to Billy Gold, who's this wacky, like, conspiracy theorist, social media guru. So we'll talk about outreach. And we'll just teach them how to actually execute. Started as a business company. I worked with a music business company with musicians and stuff. And I lost a lot of money and learned a lot of hard lessons. Hard lessons. But that's a long answer to a short question. Sorry. Any other questions? Job hunting, money hunting. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been in interviews before, and I feel like I kind of hold back from completely being myself, because I don't want to come across as this guy's kind of cocky or too he doesn't care. Should I kind of hold back to some degree, or just completely just say this is what I feel, this I am?
That's a great question. The rule of thumb there is that it's about you, not about me. It's about you. When you're sitting there, it's about the interviewer, not about you. All right? So the best way to handle that when you feel yourself getting into that, I just want to be me, big and beautiful me, right? No, in that particular case, you just need to ask them questions. So from an interrogation perspective, like the science of interrogation, in an interview, you need to make them feel like they need to sell to you. And many good interviewers, that's what they do. Even if you're an entry-level person, they'll sell the job to you. They'll sell it to you. So you need to just ask them questions. If you feel yourself getting them in that space, you can ask cocky questions, but you can't be cocky because you haven't earned the right yet. So it can still be you. You just funnel that somewhere else. I remember I was in an interview with Precourt, one of the biggest fitness equipment companies in the world, right out of college. And I'm like, I want to work for this company. It was a great benefits package. And it was like, wow, this seems kind of cool. Let me do this. So I asked him, I was like, I'm a little confused here. Your job description says this. And then I went and talked. I went and did a little homework and talked to it was a supply chain job. I talked to the supply chain manager at Philips, one of the biggest companies in the world. And he was confused too. I was hoping you could help explain to me how am I supposed to make you guys look good? How do I do that? And for the next half hour, those two interviewers argued with each other over what it actually meant. Needless to say, I did not get the job. It took another 6 months to fill it. Right? So it was that was a cocky question for me to ask. So I thought, I still most days think that I'm smarter than everyone in the room, except maybe Peter. But
speaking of which, can you speak about ChicoStart and explain to people what ChicoStart is and what you do there? Because that's going to really, Nate has done an amazing piece of work at our local Chico incubator. He has really helped turn it around in a substantial way.
So ChicoStart is an incubator, meaning we take young businesses or businesses that have plateaued or hit a barrier, and we put them in an environment with other people like them, and we connect them with mentors and resources and trainers. It's just downtown, over by where the hands are. The hands. You know, like pitting out here? That would be kind of funny when I did that. My giant biceps can't fit in my shirt. But we have a program there for college students, and there's a few. I think that Elder Ally, right? Peter Farsay was involved with it. A couple of grads out of this program have offices there now. I've recently graduated out of there.
Jake Wade.
Yep, Jake Wade. He was one of my clients for a while. And it's
there's a few of them. Brett Kente is his name, one with the Cityscape or whatever it's called. Brett Patel.
So there's ultimately, if you're of the personality type that you don't want to be an employee somewhere, and being an employee is fine, all right? I did it for many years and I was happy as could be, all right? But if you're of that personality type where you want to build something and you just don't know the steps to get there, like if you want to do a mobile app and don't know how to get to the point where you're ready to talk to an investor, well, what does ready look like? ChicoStart, we have people there that can help show you, help you navigate. They'll kind of hold your hand through the process, frankly. Now, I've done a lot of good there, but I've also gotten a lot of good there. Like, the mentors there are ridiculous. There's people in Chico, and Declan Dunn, specifically, is his marketing guy. He's got the gray hair, the long ponytail. Looks like he's like a fish fan or something, right? And I think he's got to be growing a medium scratch, too, for sure. But I meet with this guy, and I can tell you honestly that as a marketing expert, that Declan has got to be one of the smartest marketing people I've met across the country. He's just living up there in some little hippie house up in the mountains that comes down and ChicoStart and helps people for free. Just because that's how he does things, almost like commune style, but with like technical stuff, talking about Facebook remarketing and gnarly stuff that would cost you a shit ton of money to learn out anywhere else. And ultimately, they're just good people. Patrick is spitting distance from me, from company. He was up on this side of the line, has been to like a zillion countries. And some of the other people on the list of the speakers are actually folks that have gone through ChicoStart, taught workshops there, sometimes involved that. And ultimately, the lesson here, there's a number 5. All right? I'm glad that I mentioned ChicoStart. Number 5, map the ecosystem. Okay? Well, I haven't talked about at all is how do you actually get in front of the people? How do you get their email? How do you get and reach these people? And if you look at it, you've got all these different communities. You've got the college community, you've got a bunch of communities in there, and you've got like the small business community and the entrepreneur community and the manufacturing community and the hippie community and the homeless community. It's all there, right? But what I just did here is I mapped the ecosystem. So if I want a job in manufacturing IT right here, and I'm right here, you just figure out how to get to there. Map the ecosystem. And when you map it out, an ecosystem by definition is interdependent communities. You need to figure out how to get there. And it's not through email addresses or phone systems or directories or Google searches. It's through people. These are actual people. And also all these little faces. So map the ecosystem. And Chico Start is one of those places that sits at an intersection of multiple ecosystems. So you'll be exposed to people. At minimum, show up to some of the events, get on the mailing list, chicostart.com. You're just running your own thing is lonely and scary and hard. You go there to feel less lonely, and they give you the tools to be a badass. All right? Last question, then I need to step off my pulpit. So I'm out of time, I can tell by your... Any other questions? Job hunting projects.
I have one more for you to talk to Mr. Lee about that just a second. Tell these guys how you feel about marketing via or through or around Facebook.
Oh, God.
The 25 words or less.
Facebook is a gateway drug, not the end destination. All right? It's just a way, the only role of Facebook when you're job hunting or looking for investors, looking for customers, looking for fans, or looking for someone to care about your cause, is just get the next step. So just, if you're just on being there, be there just long enough to get an email address or a phone number. That's it. It's just for some, in Chico, it's a bit of a shortcut. The second you leave the city limits and go anywhere else in the country, no one's going to give a shit about Facebook. And some of them don't even care about social media anymore. They just want to say, hey, just call me. All right? Now, Facebook ads, if you got something on that area, its ad platform is ridiculous. And a lot of the Straussian, as I call them at Chico Start, the Straussian believers there, that college scheduler and BizNet, is it BizApps now? The short name. BizApp, and some of the alumni of CEA, they're selling things that just, there we go, that just, like Soul ID especially. Facebook is where their people live. Those are exceptions to the rule. For the rest of us, stay on Facebook long enough to get an email, get a phone number, get there in person. Right, there's a hierarchy there. Everyone is hungry for a human connection. They're starving for it. They're starving for a human connection. They're starving to be around someone that's not boring. Stop being boring. All right.
That's good.
Okay.